Hi, this is Kay from Breaking the Spells. I'd like to read something to you, which entails my second video on how we were designed to eat. It's the beginning of dealing with supplements. Okay, I wrote this, see, right here. I wrote this and I'm going to read it to you right now. Societies originally gathered around riverbeds at the base of mountains where the water flows to create rivers, and on the edges of seashores. It is in these areas where minerals are concentrated in both the plants and in the animals who ate or eat the plants. Therefore, since water flows downhill toward rivers and oceans, okay, lakes included, those areas are the highest in minerals. And if eaten in the form of plants or animals who ate the plants, the minerals are in the form that are easy to assimilate not only into the blood, but from the blood to the cells. Cells are key. Minerals that are not from plants or the animals who ate the plants, both being from the plants either directly or indirectly, are thousands of times too large and cause obstruction and blockage. The molecules that don't come directly or indirectly from a plant are thousands of times too large, literally, and they get in places where they can't get to where they need to go very well, and when they go to certain places they can't get out well because they're literally oversized. Okay. I address this in my Critical Facts About Minerals video. Actually, please go see that because that relates to what I'm going to talk about, which is seaweed. The mineral content that is in the blood is therefore not at all reflective of the minerals that made it to and into the cells. This is why blood tests for mineral deficiency or sufficiency are a joke, because the blood will steal minerals to keep them in balance in the blood so we don't die. And the way it does that is it's basically taking minerals from our cells, tissues, bones, muscles, etc. Minerals, hopefully well assimilated from plants or animals who ate the plants, conduct all of our messages, and they also hydrate. Conducting messages, the electrical property, and the hydration are absolutely critical. They are conductors and they keep the water inside of the cells. That means hydration. The takeaway is that when a person or animal, or plant for that matter, consumes and assimilates enough minerals in the proper size, quantity, and balance, must say, and also variety, the cells stay hydrated and energized. It's about hydration and electricity. My family once lived in the desert where people carried water packs or other water bottles just to get through the day, even indoors. We used to take long walks, and even our dogs, who we walked in the dry air and the heat, drank a little water when we got home to rehydrate because none of our household was dehydrated. And don't worry, we didn't walk them overly long without actually taking water just in case. Everyone else who did not consume the easy-to-assimilate minerals had to constantly refill their bodies and the bodies of their animals with water, which increased the minerals lost in urine. I gotta give you a really cool example. We used to sometimes babysit and walk other dogs who ate their own food. Okay, obviously. And when we walked our dogs and they walked with us, it's really, really clear because our dog would come home and take a few laps of water to cool off the tongue. And the other dogs would just suck it up. So that's just a kind of a way to imagine it. Okay. Since we personally never lived on a riverbed or seashore and gotten all of our mineral-rich food from those places, truly sourced from those places, we compensated by eating lots of organic seaweed, and we also fed that organic seaweed to our animals, as we still do. Had a similar example with a bird before I fed it seaweed, and it had issues with mineral deficiencies, and it showed because in the unfertilized eggs it would lay it was such a strain and such a depletion that it would get an infection from not having enough minerals. So we added seaweed, and it went away, and it was never an issue. So if this bird wanted to lay some unfertile eggs, again, it was a cockatiel at the time, then there were no issues. So that's just another example with, say dogs and birds, not just humans. Okay, to this day, we and our animals do not get the thirst that others do who don't consume those minerals. Can others get this mineral content from animal food only? This is a question for the new up-and-coming carnivores, or people that are carnivore-leaning omnivores. They probably can't, but they probably only could if it is a diet high in organ meat, especially liver, and probably raw too. And if the animals that they ate get the proper mineral balance and quantity from what they ate, but they're generally eating inland animals from depleted soil, even if it's organic or pasture raised. A pasture or grassland that's not been touched by humans and not been farmed and stripped of its minerals by growing monocrops or anything like that is way, way, way better, than trying to graze on some land that used to be, a cotton field or a cornfield, of course. Since organic seaweed is perfect in content, we just really think that it's the most critical nutrient for anyone to add to their diet. And the only exception is who could actually get all their food from an area that's a riverbed. Everybody gets food from everywhere now, so it's really not going to happen. I use seaweed as our most important supplement for our entire household. You might want to try it to see if you don't have better hydration and better energy. The proof is really in the pudding, and regardless of things like studies and books and so forth, and this expert said this and that expert said that, it's really going to come down to whether it works or not for you. I do suggest only getting organic seaweed, and preferably not sourced near Fukushima or where the Fukushima waters would flow, of course. And a couple sources, I don't work for anybody, I don't monetize, I don't sell anything, but a couple really good sources are Mountain Rose Herbs and Maine Coast Sea Vegetables. My favorite mix for the humans from Mountain Rose Herbs is their dulse flakes mixed with their sea lettuce flakes, and either chewed directly. I must chew probably 3 tablespoons every morning. I can feel the energy immediately, just with the minerals, and they're incredible. And also we use some powdered seaweed in addition to some other sea vegetables for the animals. One thing I want to stress is, we're always trying to decide which nutrients, especially minerals, do we need and how much. First of all, the worst place to get them from is any kind of mine, a rock or soil without some kind of plant having pre-digested them and making them thousands of times smaller. The seaweed itself has molecules of minerals in the perfect size, the perfect balance, and it has all of them. And it has the macro minerals and the micro minerals in perfect balance, including your electrolytes. So, I want to say one other thing too. If you see a lot of my greens videos and things like how I grow my dandelion and so forth, in my compost that goes on all the greens that I grow to eat, I actually put powdered organic kelp in with the compost. Sometimes I'll put it in while it's composting, and sometimes I'll put it in and stir it in the compost in a wheelbarrow or a bucket before I actually put it on the plants themselves. So that's the beginning of me talking about supplements, and the most precious and the most critical supplements that would apply to everyone regardless of what kind of diet they're on. There will be future videos that help target supplements, not from any certain company, or I'm not selling them for any certain company or anything like that, but certain supplements that would be lacking in certain types of diets. So I hope that helps. please consider seaweed. There is no more perfect and more balanced and more assimilable source of minerals.